fading skies. Tattered flags waving dreams in our eyes. The crowds roar like a storm on the wind. We're the underdogs fighting again.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Concacaf Gold Cup Final watch-along. The U.S. men's national team will take on their bitter rival, Mexico, live from Houston. And good Lord, man, I don't think I've been this fired up for a U.S. men's national team match, especially over the last year. I'm completely ready for this one. And of course, we're about 30 minutes away from kickoff. And I wanted to start early because we have to talk about a few things before we get into it. The lineage and the history of these two teams, and especially the rivalry, because I think this one actually has a lot more importance, especially for both teams involved. Before we get into that, make sure you hit the subscribe buttons as well, too, because we are in a race to 1,000 subs. And of course, every single milestone that we hit, whether that's 500,000, 1,500, whatever the case may be, I am going to make sure that you are taken care of. And I will be giving away a shirt of your choice. You just name the kit and it'll arrive on your doorstep. So make sure you hit that subscribe buttons as well as the like buttons as well, too, because, you know, the algorithms, I don't exactly know how they work, but I know that if you keep on hitting that like button, good things happen. So definitely take care of that. All right. So the U.S. men's national team versus Mexico in this rivalry runs deep. And I think starting in 2016, late 2016, I think this rivalry took on even more of a heightened rivalry considering the political climate that ended up happening throughout the campaign season of the 2016 year. And I think we all know what I'm referring to. But let's get into it, because I think the important thing about these two teams is that for a long time, this really wasn't a rivalry. Let's go from the 1930s all the way through the 1980s. This really wasn't a rivalry. I think Mexico had something crazy like 22 wins to 2 draws. 22 wins for Mexico, 2 losses, 3 draws. The 2 U.S. wins coming in 1934, a 4-2 win, and in 1980, a 1982 World Cup qualifier in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Outside of that, this was not even remotely a rivalry. And for those that are a little bit of a historian of this beautiful game, back in those days, there was only one automatic qualifier for Concacaf. That's it, just one. And of course, Mexico was that qualifier. They dominated Concacaf, and it wasn't even remotely close. As a matter of fact, through the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and for a large part of the 1980s, the United States just literally could not hang with Mexico. And I know that the United States tried in the 1970s during the era of the NASL. They were trying to produce, but unfortunately, the mechanism of the NASL and all the foreign players that came in. And at the time, especially because youth soccer wasn't as big as it is now as it was then, the United States just were not producing top quality athletes to compete in this region, let alone to be able to qualify for the World Cup. Things changed in 1988, specifically, Independence Day, July 4th, 1988. Something absolutely fantastic happened with the United States. FIFA announced on that day that the United States had won the bidding for the 1994 World Cup. And everything changed. 1 year later, the United States goes down to Port of Spain, Trinidad and Tobago. And the $1 million goal happened, Paul Caligiuri, and all of a sudden the United States finally qualifies for Italia 90. Yes, the United States, showed their inexperience in Italia 90, losing all 3 matches in the group stage, but something beautiful happened outside of that, because now all of a sudden, the next cycle, you're the host nation. So there's an automatic qualifier. And the United States did something brilliant. They hired the former Mexican national team coach, Bora Milutinovic, and all of a sudden, things changed. The confidence of the U.S. men's national team began to grow, but most importantly, the development got better. And it begins in 1991. Gold Cup 1991, semifinals, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. The United States beats Mexico 2-0 en route to a shootout win against Honduras to win their first Gold Cup. And it begins. That was the moment that the United States finally entered the rivalry. It also coincides with what I can consider the modern age of the U.S. men's national team. 1995, Copa America. And I believe it's played in, I want to say Uruguay. I could be wrong. But quarterfinals, U.S. versus Mexico. As Concacaf as Common Bowl invited both the U.S. and Mexico. And it was one of the nastiest games of this rivalry. Bad tackles that possibly could lead to fights. Chirping from both teams, and it gets to a shootout. And Brad Friedel comes up huge as the United States advance to a semifinal of a major tournament. Confederations Cup 1999 semifinals, U.S. versus Mexico at Azteca. And of course, the Mexican national team wins that one 1-0. But 3 years later, World Cup 2002, round of 16, the U.S. men's national team versus Mexico on the biggest stage, under the bright lights, showing the world exactly what CONCACAF football is all about. The United States men's national team starts the legend of Dos a 0 on the biggest stage. And all throughout the 2000s, at least on home soil, it's the legend of Dos a 0. The United States men's national team absolutely dominated at home. They wouldn't get their first win at Azteca until Jurgen Klinsmann took over after Gold Cup 2011, in which the United States took a 2-0 lead and eventually lost 4-2. But this rivalry is always going to be good. The United States has met Mexico many times in the Gold Cup final. They have also met a few times in the Nations League final as well, too. And I believe the last time that they beat Mexico in the Nations League final, I believe it was 2023. I could be wrong. 2021, 2023, one of those years. But regardless, tonight is absolutely huge for a lot of reasons, as we're going to get into it in just a second. But first, let's turn to the chat real quick. John Battery says Mexico winning. No, they're not. Sorry, man. They're just not. And of course, Dan Davenport Love having you around, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've enjoyed the weekend. All right. Now, for the United States men's national team, it's pretty simple. This is something that is a must. And especially since the U.S. Soccer Federation decided to bring back Greg Berhalter. To be honest with you, this team has not performed up to their capabilities, even when the first team is taking the pitch. Whether it's friendlies, whether it's competitions, Nations League, Gold Cup, whatever the case may be, and even Copa America, as we saw last summer. This team, for whatever reason, has just fallen flat. And when you consider the fact that they became the first home nation to get grouped in a major tournament, the Copa America last summer, and the failure of the Nations League earlier this year, two absolutely massive tournaments that they very much underwhelmed in, underperformed, underachieved. Coming into this Gold Cup, the last major tournament before the 2026 World Cup, the last opportunity to gain some momentum, the last opportunity to win something. And for Mauricio Pochettino, this is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. Because one of the things that the U.S. men's national team has not had in quite a long time is momentum. They have not given the fan base a reason to believe. And the quickest way to do that is to beat your rival for Harper. One of the things that I love about this Gold Cup team is the maturity that it's shown as it went from group play into the knockout rounds, and the ability to punch back a little bit. Something that, I got to be honest with you, I didn't think we were necessarily, I didn't think we had that. I didn't think we had that ability. I didn't think we possessed the ability to push back. We have been so toothless over the course of the last year and a half, 2 years, that for me at least, I was starting to wonder if this group even cared. We heard all the outside noise from all the blowhards, all the prognosticators out there that had an opinion on this. But one of the things that is the hallmark of the U.S. men's national team is that American arrogance, the ability to step on the pitch, and it doesn't matter who we play. We expect to win. We're American. Sure, you might have the talent, but we're going to make you earn it. And if you do, all right, fair enough. But that being said, we're going to be fighting for the final whistle. We're going to make it tough. And this group of players, we haven't seen that. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't have World Cup qualifying. There is not a goal in which to reach. I think they kind of took their foot off the gas in the Copa America. I think they didn't necessarily take the Nations League all that seriously. And I understand, too, because, you play, 3 teams 20 times in 3 years. I can understand that you're probably not going to get pumped up for, to play these teams again. I get it. But this Gold Cup is something different because we don't necessarily have a lot of our first team on this roster. It is our domestic-based MLS roster with a few European members sprinkled in for good measure. Now, pretty good European-based players. I mean, Malik Tillman's probably the best player throughout this Gold Cup, but certainly, they have performed well in this Gold Cup. After beating Trinidad 5-0, they struggled against Saudi Arabia in their low block, and it took a Chris Richards goal off a free kick in order to beat them. Against Haiti, it was a piss-poor mistake by Max Arfston. That led to a penalty, and we had to battle our way back against Haiti. Against Costa Rica. And this was probably one of the best moments of this Gold Cup. After Malik Tillman missed a penalty, One of the quiet guys on this team, Costa Rican players got into his face, and the rest of this team rallied around Malik Tillman and started pushing back. We're not going to allow that. And for the first time in a long time, the U.S. men's national team started showing their teeth a little bit. Against Guatemala, we just got the job done. And now it's the final against a Mexico team that feels like they're a little bit organized. Now, certainly for Mexico, they're not as talented as Mexican teams of the past. But one of the things that they are is organized. Again, with former and now current head coach Javier Aguirre, they look absolutely ready to go for tonight's one. But what I will say is that I have full faith in the U.S. men's national team. 100%. No doubt about it. I believe that this is something that the U.S. need more than Mexico heading into a World Cup on home soil. This is the apex. This is the pinnacle. This is the opportunity to gain back that momentum and actually give the fan base something that they have been missing in quite a while, which is confidence. Confidence that we can get this thing done. And I think this is going to breathe new life into this team, especially as we go into the fall windows. And of course, past the new year as we are ramping up to World Cup 2026. So let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting lineups for your U.S. men's national team as they start off in a 4-2-3-1. But obviously, as these things progress, as the U.S. builds up, it's generally a back three. In nets tonight, it will be Matt Freese again for the U.S. men's national team. Listen, he's actually had a very good Gold Cup. Yes, I understand there was that mistake in that Haiti match, but since that mistake, he has rebounded and he's actually looked pretty good. Listen, when Pochettino came out and said he is my number one, that's it. It's his job to lose. And so far, yes, there's going to be a learning curve, but he has certainly made up for it. At the left back spot, actually, it's more of a wing back position. It's going to be Max Starkson. And I'm not surprised by this one. I'm not surprised by this one whatsoever, as Max Starkson has started every match except for the Haiti when John Tolkien got that start. The center back pairings are going to remain intact with Tim Reed and Chris Richards. I think Chris Richards has been one of the players of the tournament, especially on the obviously the defensive side of the ball. And I think this was Chris Richards' coming out party. We have seen this for a long time now, that there was some questions with Chris Richards' ability at the national team level, but I think something happened over the course of the season with Crystal Palace, and it was the confidence of continuing to develop, becoming a Premier League level center back, but also winning the FA Cup definitely played a role to this one. And he came into this Gold Cup with a lot of confidence, and I think that's rubbed off on a center back pairing, because that back pairing of Tim Ream and Chris Richards have actually been very, very, very good in this Gold Cup. On the right side, it's going to be Freeman again. Again, no surprise. The question is exactly how Freeman's going to be used, and then also the combination between Luca Della Torre and Sebastian Berhalter, who's going to be on that right side. But we'll get to that in just a moment. The double pivot's going to be Luca Della Torre and Tyler Adams. Like I just mentioned, Sebastian Berhalter is going to be lining up on the right side with Diego Luna on the left and Malik Tillman underneath as that center attacking mid, and Patrick Agyemang. And congratulations, by the way, to Patrick Agyemang, as he's making the move from Major League Soccer to the Championship, a deal done with Derby County. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to actually work out for him. But that being said, we also know that throughout the course of this match, there's going to be some interchange between Diego Luna and Malik Tillman, or Berhalter and Tillman. He definitely has some interchange with the wings as they drift a little bit more centrally as this team builds up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because generally speaking, it's usually Luna that goes in centrally, as Arston is the guy that makes that run up the left-hand side, although sometimes we have seen Freeman be that guy on the right hand. So there's going to be a lot of interchange between these wingers drifting centrally. For Mexico, they come out in a 4-3-3, and in nets tonight it will be Malagon. The back four of Sanchez, Montez, Vasquez, and Gallardo. The midfield three of Mora, Alvarez, and Ruiz. And up top will be Vega, Alvarado, and Raul Jimenez. And by the way, I love Raul Jimenez. I don't know what has happened over the course of the last year and a half, but there has been a career resurrection with Raul Jimenez, and he became one of the more dangerous strikers in the Premier League for Fulham. And let me tell you, he's nobody to trifle with. And as a matter of fact, if you need something else to worry about for Mexico, they also have Santiago Jimenez coming off the bench as well too. So, all right, let's take a look at the chat here. We have the Dermatron. Big up, Steve. Big up to you, my guy. And of course, we have a lot of other guys in here. That is USMNT. There you go. All right. So we are getting absolutely close to kick here, as we're about 10 minutes away. Now, I have to say that I know there's a lot of skepticism towards this U.S. men's national team. We don't have our first team, and all the brouhaha surrounding Christian Pulisic, Jedi Robinson. I get it. But that being said, I think it's also important to recognize that the U.S. Soccer Federation themselves really don't value the Gold Cup. They really don't. They haven't emphasized the Gold Cup, and in prior cycles, they would usually use a B team during the. They would use the B team during the group stages, and of course, if they made the knockout rounds, which they always do, they usually bring in the first team as things would progress. But I liked what Mauricio Pochettino did. Not allowing players to dictate when they want to show up and who they want to play against. Like, he wanted a commitment, and I appreciated that, right? Because I think there was, at least I felt this way. There was this sense that the inmates were running the asylum with the U.S. men's national team, right? I think over the course, as we were bridging the gap from Bob Bradley to Jurgen Klinsmann, and then of course when that debacle happened with Klinsmann, and then he was let go, and then all of a sudden we have Bruce Arena, and then of course what happened in 2017, and then all of a sudden now it gets erased. Everything gets erased, and now all of a sudden you have Greg Berhalter, who is a player's coach. And I think what ended up happening was that the players got comfortable knowing that, they kind of have more of a say than necessarily a head coach. And I don't think there was really a lot of accountability with Greg Berhalter. And I think we saw how do I use this word correctly? Maybe the weakness of Greg Berhalter to really kind of put his foot down and make sure that the expectations were in the right place. I think they understood, like when it came to World Cup 2022, I'm sure they understood quite plainly what the expectation was. But that being said, it's not just about the World Cup. Yes, that's the end result. That's exactly why you have a 4-year cycle. You go through the ups and downs. You have the friendlies where you can mix and match and you can get a look at some other guys. But that being said, it's like there is a level of expectations when it comes to Gold Cup, when it comes to Nations League, Copa Americas, if you're involved in them, and then of course the World Cups. And it just seemed that the players got used to being able to dictate what they wanted to do when it came to certain tournaments, and how they were going to approach it. And that's what I respect about Mauricio Pochettino, because he's come in and he's literally taken the power away from the players and essentially just said, hey, listen, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you don't necessarily write the rosters. I do. Just saying. Just saying. And if you're not performing, you're probably not going to be involved. It doesn't matter where you play as long as you're playing well. That's how you get called in. But that being said, once you get called in, you got to perform. And we've seen a lot of these guys not being able to perform. So I'm pretty excited about this because it's been a while. It's been a while since we've actually had a coach that actually set the expectation and set the standards. And likewise for Mexico. I think that the drop off point for Mexico was Copa America, and at the embarrassment of being grouped in Copa America. I mean, Mexico had the exact same fate. Mexico looked absolutely terrible in that Copa America, which led to the rehiring of Javier Yepiri. And of course, I think they also named Rafa Marquez as his deputy as well, too, with the aim of Marquez taking over the Mexican national team after World Cup 2026. So he's also learning on the job too. So I think there's a lot of confidence and there's a lot of commitment with the Mexican program to at least being able to have a good showing in 2026 as a jumping off point. The biggest problem with Mexico right now is their development, because again, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Mexico has stopped the promotion and relegation in Liga MX, and because of the super owners, I think there's 3 ownership groups that own the majority of teams in Mexico, and the development is just at what I would consider rock bottom in Mexico, and they have not been able to produce those top end prospects. So it's been an issue. It's been an issue for them to get back to the same levels of what they experienced in 1970 when they got to the quarterfinal, and of course in 1986 when they hosted again. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, as we're getting very, very, very close now to the U.S. versus Mexico. Concacaf Gold Cup. As I'm waiting for my stream. This is always the worst, man, when I'm trying to get my streams right. It's going to be an absolute barn burner in Houston, and it looks like there's going to be a huge crowd, which is for me at least is massively important, because one of the things we just haven't seen are are crowds that actually inspire. The interesting thing was I was having a conversation with my brother a few days ago. And one of the things that I would love to see come back, 2 things that I would love to see. I would like to see the Gold Cup go from every year to every other year. That if you want to, like, I don't like the Nations League. I think FIFA. I think having multiple CONCACAF competitions has watered down the Confederation to the point where I think a lot of players, not just on the U.S. side, but also on the Mexican side. Me personally, I think that has made players, not necessarily get motivated, because again, you're playing a lot of football within your confederation, and the more football you play, the farther away from knowing just exactly how good your national team is. I would like them to scrap the Nations League and bring back the Confed Cup. I would love to see, in a 4-year cycle, at the halfway mark, a Confed Cup. So every 2 years you have a Confed Cup, and then of course the World Cup, and it allows you to get a little bit of a World Cup warm-up where you can actually test yourself against the world's best midway. It's a litmus test to find out exactly where you need to improve midway through the cycle. If you want to have a Gold Cup before it and after it, hey man, no problem. I think they should make the Gold Cup every 2 years with a Confed Cup right in the middle. I think that would be absolutely beneficial for this confederation as well too. So, we're not necessarily playing the same teams 20 times in 3 straight years. But I also think that for the U.S. men's national team, they have to travel more. I would probably say that in a calendar year, we play 15 to 20 matches, and we might go on the road twice. And it's generally to Canada or Mexico. We play the bulk of our games on American soil, and we're always playing teams that, no disrespect to Australia, New Zealand. What are we doing? We're not really doing much, man. I would like to see, at least that's what I can give. I can give Jurgen Klinsmann some respect in some regards, because Jurgen at least took this show on the road. He actually he wanted to see it. It's, you can play Mexico 5 times in season in a calendar year, but what is that? How does that let you know that you're getting better? And he took this team to Germany. He took them to the Netherlands. He took them to Italy. He took them to Scotland. I think he took them to England as well too. And it's like, I get it, right? The windows themselves, especially now that Nations League is a part of the international windows now, it makes it very hard to schedule them. But that being said, you have to be able to see exactly what you're made of, and that involves going on the road. And if that means you got to split the money 50-50 with another confederation or another national team, so be it. Like this team, they have to at least make this a little bit more, more realistic. We have Nate Holloway in the house. Good to see you, Nate. Rhode Island FC, USA. Excellent, my guy. Good to have you along tonight. Speaking of which, make sure you hit that subscribe button tonight, because we are on a race to 1,000 subs. And it looks like the Mexican national anthem is currently being played. And I used to love it when they used to, players used to do this as well too. I thought that was awesome. But of course, this is the thing that kind of sucks, because they always put US-Mexico matches in places where they know for a fact it's essentially going to be a road, it's going to be a road match for the U.S. men's national team, because there's the Mexican Americans that show up to this thing generally are 60 to 70% of the crowd. That's why I always appreciated when essentially our home field was in Columbus, and the U.S. Soccer Federation relegated the tickets through their local MLS affiliate. So anyway, and I'm sick of jumping around as well too, man. Pick a stadium, pick a place, whether it be Columbus, whether it be Cincinnati, stay there. I don't know. Yeah, I know, I get it. I'm ranting, but I'm just nervous. It's it's US-Mexico. I'm curious to see how Diego Luna performs tonight. I don't know about you guys, but Diego Luna has the ability to show up in the biggest moments. And against Mexico, this rivalry, and I'm sure he understands. Being Mexican-American himself, speaks the language. He understands the rivalry. But that being said, as the Star Spangled Banner is being sung right now, and there's the U.S. men's national team. There's Jack McGlynn. as the U.S. supporters are going crazy in Houston. I think that's the thing. As we get closer to kickoff, I always think about my favorite. My favorite U.S. Mexico matchup was, I believe it was maybe 2001, and it was in Columbus, and it was absolutely freezing. I think it was like maybe 10 degrees out. Mexico couldn't warm up because they were so cold, and it starts off early with Brian McBride getting essentially headed in the face by Rafa Marquez. He comes off, and Josh Wolf comes on, and all of a sudden, the U.S. end up scoring the first goal. They end up winning 2-0, and it's the legend of Dos Acero. And I remember that so vividly. And man. That was such a great game, man. And by the way, Brian McBride was back in the day. McBride was my guy. As we are getting very close, as the tarps come off the pitch, as the pregame festivities looks like they are almost done, and it looks like the VAR room is going to be an all Costa Rican affair. So that's going to be interesting. This is going to be an interesting matchup, man. Just out of curiosity, I wonder how you guys feel about this one. What do you think is going to be your predicted score tonight? Because I know where I'm going. It's where I always go when these two teams meet up. It's Dos Acero. It's 2-0. The U.S. men's national team. It's always Dos Acero. As we are getting so very close, as the Mexican national team will huddle up, and we are very close to kick. And of course, this is where the watch along begins. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know exactly how you think this match is going to turn out. Do you believe that Mexico will take this one? Or do you believe that the U.S. men's national team will prevail? Looks like a good crowd tonight in Houston. I believe that we will win. I always have that belief. As both huddles break, as the United States will be lining up left to right. And the U.S. will take first possession here on opening kick. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this one. And we are off. As possession will be controlled by Chris Richards, and he's going to play this one up as he usually does. It's going to go to the right side. It's going to be headed up in the air. It looks like Malik Tillman headed it straight to the keeper, Malagon, as he will play this one up the right-hand side. Headed forward by Chris Richards. And here comes Mexico attacking up the right-hand side. Nice little touch pass. I believe it's Vega on the right-hand touch line. That ball's going to get played in. Tim Ream heads it up. And there's a whistle. And it'll go against Mexico with Sebastian Berhalter. Good hustle right there against Raul Jimenez. As Jimenez just pushes him aside. And Mexico is not afraid, as Tim Ream's going to play this one forward. It's Patrick Ajamyang up the left-hand touch line. And it'll be another whistle. And it'll be a Mexico free kick. There's Mauricio Pochettino. as he badly wants this trophy. As Mexico will control possession here as they're going to try to play this one out of the back. And Mexico will try to play this up the right-hand side. And that does, yep, it'll get out for a U.S. throw-in, as that was just too heavy of a touch right there. As they're going to try to play this forward to Ajimang, just a little underserved. But here's Diego Luna, nice touch right here. And the U.S. will try to reset. It's Chris Richards now. Good press by Mexico. All the way to Freeman, who's got to play this forward. And there's nobody home. And there's a turnover right there. Ooh. Good defense right there by the U.S. As that looked a little iffy right there. As Tim Bream tried to head that one forward, but right to a Mexican attacker. And here come the U.S. Nice little layoff right there by Ajimang. It's Malik Tillman on the right-hand touchline. Tillman's going to have to play this one back. And on the stream. As the technical difficulties here. It's unfortunate. I do apologize as we are working to get this fixed real quick. All right, here we go. As we're 3 minutes and 17 seconds in, and it's going to be a free kick, and it's going to be Sebastian Berhalter standing over this one, about 40 yards out, and that ball's going to get played in. It's Richards on the head. Oh, he scored! Chris Richards! Oh, boy, but Chris Richards puts this one up as the U.S. take the first lead of the match off a free kick. And it's Richards' second goal of the tournament. And it's 1-0 USA. Unbelievable turn of events. Here in Houston as the U.S. draw first blood. Unbelievable. Unbelievable goal right there by Chris Richards. And again, standing about 40 yards out off the right-hand side, Sebastian Berhalter, just like he did against Saudi Arabia, delivers an absolute strike. It was an absolute dime that finds Chris Richards' head. And Richards finishes ones off as it hits off the crossbar down. And the U.S. take a 1-0 lead within the first 5 minutes. And now it's indicative of the U.S. to maintain this lead. They cannot let Mexico get into this one. Unbelievable goal by Chris Richards. Absolutely amazing. And now all of a sudden, and it looks like that goal is going to stand here, as Mexico now will start play again here. Down a goal as we're 5 minutes in. Let's see what the sense of urgency from Mexico is going to be like as they're trying to play this one out of the back. And it's the U.S. press this time, because that ball is going to get played forward. And Matt Freese will come out to corral that one, as Raul Jimenez tried, but was unsuccessful. As Freese will lay this off to Richards, who's now going to play this one up. And it's going to be Sebastian Berhalter trying to keep this one in play. And Berhalter is going to wrestle as those two. And it looks like it was Jimenez right there. That was interesting. So here comes Mexico again as they're going to try to play this one down the left-hand side. That ball is going to get pinged forward. And that's just a little too far forward, and it'll get out for a U.S. throw-in. As Gallardo was the intended, was essentially going to be the recipient of that long ball, but no dice for Mexico. As Freeman will play this one forward. Trying to hit Ajameng, and there's a whistle right there. Yeah, 100%. As the U.S. will try to play this one quickly. As Vasquez absolutely just manhandled Ajameng right there. So now the U.S. now will have the free kick as play starts, as that ball's going to get played up. And it's going to get redirected, and now Mexico will have possession. As that's played a little centrally. Good passing by Mexico as the U.S. are trying to trap in the mid, but it's going to get played out. And so now here comes Mexico up the right-hand side. Mexico's passing looks pretty clean. As now they're going to switch to the left-hand side. Oh, nice interception right there by Sebastian Berhalter. As the U.S. tries to clear, that's play forward. It's Ajameng. That ball's going to get picked. And that's going to get played back. But we do have a whistle here. As Mexico now will restart play. And of course, the number 4 kit by Mexico famously was worn by Rafa Marquez, formerly of Barcelona. Of course, a Mexican national great. It's interesting. So that ball is going to try to get pinged forward, intercepted by Mexico. Now rushing out to press is Diego Luna. Oh, taken away and out of play. But there's another whistle. This time on Malik Tillman. As we're nearly 10 minutes in and the U.S. lead 1-0. And it'll be a Mexico throw-in. Gallardo will play this one back. All the way back to Malagón, who boots this one forward. It's Freeman heading it forward. And that will get booted out of play, so it'll be a throw-in on the right-hand side. And again, we look at that goal. You know, Sebastian Berhalter, and that's the thing. It's like when it comes to the World Cup roster, right, it's not just going to be a collection of your best European-based players. It's going to be a collection of your entire pool. Certain rules are facilitated by certain players. And when you have a guy who has that type of accuracy on long free kicks, that's going to come in handy come the World Cup. And I would just assume that Sebastian Berhalter is going to get more run out, especially with the first team as these friendlies progress, as we get closer to World Cup 2026 to see if he could actually hang at that level with the first team. So, yes, it's going to be a Mexico throwing on the left-hand side. As it's going to get played in. And that's going to get turned over. As Ream will play it centrally. As that's going to get played out to Erfston, who's got to play it back real quick. And now it's centrally to Tyler Adams, who's got to lay this one back off. The Mexican press is relentless. As Ream will try to play this centrally. Nice pass right there. And it drops to Malik Tillman. And Tillman's going to be racing. And he is going to lay this off to Freeman on the right-hand touchline. Just across the midway line. And it's Tim Ream now as they have switched sides of the field. As Ream will play this forward. It's Diego Luna. Nice little tip forward. But it's intercepted. And here comes Mexico now. As we are almost 11 minutes into the first half. As the U.S. drew first blood. Nice little layoff right here. And there's an interception. Here comes Mexico now on the counterattack. Ball forward, and now Freeman will lay this off to Freeze. And Freeze is going to have to play this one forward. Headed forward by Mexico. There's Chris Richards. And it's Max Arfson. Now it's Diego Luna. Luna, nice pass right there. Here comes Sebastian Berhalter. Berhalter with room to work. He's going to lay this one off to Tillman. Tillman's going to play it into the box. Deflected away. Sebastian Berhalter playing it forward for Ajamang, just a little bit behind him. Good movement right there by the U.S. on the counterattack. But now Mexico will build up. This has the making of a good old-fashioned U.S.-Mexico match. It's fast. And the U.S. landed the first blow. As this one's going to be on the right-hand side deep. Nice ball in. That ball's going to get played away, and Richards will clear it. And there's a whistle. Here come the U.S. No, there's no whistle. I thought there was easily a whistle right there, as Ajamang was absolutely handed to. But play continues. It's going to be Mexico now, up the right-hand side. Mexico has actually dominated possession so far, with the U.S. getting the first goal. But here we go now as they're coming into the box up the right-hand side. Play forward, shoots, and there's Matt Freeze to cover it up. As right now, the Mexican fans are in stunned silence right now. As that ball was played forward. And it's Malagon who's going to play this one up the right-hand side. So here comes Mexico again. As they try to switch to the left-hand side, it's Gallardo who's going to play this one forward, but right there is Chris Richards. Oh, now it's all Tim Ream comes over to cover. And Mexico will try again. They keep finding space here. And now it's on the left-hand side. In the box. Centrally now. As they push this to the right-hand side now. It's our 1v1 against Arfson. Ball in. There's Freeze. Good goalkeeping right there by Matt Freeze. As he lays this off for Tim Ream. And Ream's got to play it across to Richards now. And the U.S. are having trouble now playing out of the back. It's the Mexican press. Nice little layoff to Tyler Adams. That ball's going to get played forward. It's Max Arfston. Arfston lays it off to Luna. Luna will go centrally to De La Torre. And he's running out of room, but he finds Diego Luna. And there's a whistle right there. As the U.S. will get a free kick here. And there's the restart. Oh, nice pass right there. That's Raul Jimenez. Oh, nice layoff. It's Diego Luna plays it forward. Arfston. It's De La Torre. Oh, nice movement right there. It's Diego Luna. Oh, ooh, look at that. Oh. And Mexico will come away with it as Malagon plays it off to the left-hand side. Ooh, nice. I think it's Sebastian Berhalter. Now it's Tillman. Play continues. As is up the left-hand side, it's Max Arfston. Plays it forward to Diego Luna, who tries to get past his defender. Now this will get out. It'll be a U.S. throw-in. As Tim Ream now will play this off to Chris Richards. Can the U.S. get forward here? As Freeman will play this down to Berhalter. That was almost taken away right there by Vega. Nice pass forward. It's Malak Tillman who's going to play this one forward for Ajamang. Too far forward. And it's Malagon. And Mexico will reset here. We're in the 16th minute here in Houston. The U.S. do lead 1-0. I do want to thank everybody who's tuned into this watch along. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I don't think, for those that are tuning in, I just do not think that I was wholeheartedly surprised to see Mexico handle the possession. I think the U.S. realized that, the potential speed, the speed of Mexico was probably going to be a little bit greater. Maybe they're passing a little bit cleaner. So the U.S. are going to have to take their opportunities on the counterattack, which is fine. I think the U.S. have proved, and there's a ball that's going to get played in, but there's Matt Freeze. I think the U.S. have proven that they can play well without the balls. That's going to be taken away at the halfway line. Here comes Mexico now. As Gallardo is going to try to play this one in. As long as the U.S. stay compact in that back line, I'm perfectly okay with this one. That was a nice little pick right there by Freeman. Now it's Tillman trying to play up the right-hand line. That's going to get played out by Tillman, so it'll be a Mexico throw-in. And I'm perfectly fine with this. As long as the U.S. are compact with their back two lines, 8-9 behind the ball, I'm perfectly fine with this. Pick and choose your spots when you do go forward and make the most of it. As now this ball is going to get switched to the right-hand side. 1v1. That's going to get laid off as Luna will try to come out to defend. And Mexico's now is going to have to circulate again to the right-hand side. As Mexico now will try the left-hand side, all the way down to Gallardo. Nowhere to run. That ball's going to get chipped in. It's Chris Richards, and that ball's going to get played out. A little too heavy of a touch right there. As the outlet was supposed to go to Sebastian Berhalter, but now that ball gets played. Oh, it's going to be a whistle. As Gallardo will be responsible for this throw. There's Mauricio Pochettino on the in the technical box, issuing instruction. Nice little play forward right there. Oh, that's a nice little move. But right there is Freeman. And I do believe that's going to get out. Oh. As we find out that was a nice little layoff. It was Freeman that came in. No, that was not a penalty. He just kicked away the ball. As that'll be that's going to be a corner. There's no way that was a penalty. As Freeman got all ball and Home Dude acted like he got tripped up. So it'll be Mexico's first corner. And it'll be Vega, the number 10 for Mexico, to take this corner. And that ball's going to get whipped in, headed away. And that's going to get deflected out for a Mexico throw-in on the right-hand side. So Mexico has literally been ratcheting up the pressure here as we're in the 20th minute. And it really, possession-wise, it's been all Mexico here. And it's going to be Gallardo who's going to try to play this in, but it's Tim Ream. And Ream's going to try to clear, but it's going to stay in the U.S. end here. It's been a minute since the U.S. have actually tried to push up the pitch. As now Mexico will try the left-hand side. Now they're going to try to play this up the right-hand side. That was just a little too far forward, and it'll get out for a goal kick. The U.S., me personally, I think the U.S. need a nice little sustained period of possession here. Slow it down a little bit, but that being said, make sure that your outlets are there so you can avoid the Mexican press. And I'm not necessarily surprised to see this. I would probably assume we're going to see it less in the second half. But nice little play right there by Tyler Adams. Now there's the outlet. It's Malik Tillman who's going to lay this one off. It's Berhalter who's going to try to play the centrally. He does. Tipped away. Ooh, nice little play right there. And now it's going to get laid off. Here comes, and it's going to be Sebastian Berhalter with a nice ball into the box, but nobody was there for the U.S. Now Mexico is going to have to play this forward just to play it out. Oh, and that's going to be headed away. It's Chris Richards, who's now is going to ping this one up. And it falls to Mexico as they're coming up the right-hand side. And I think that's going to be a whistle on Diego Luna. I don't necessarily agree with that. It looked like Home Dude tripped over himself. But nonetheless, Mexico is deep on the right-hand side in U.S. territory. We're going to try to play this forward. Nice little layoff as they're working it away down the left. But now they're going to go back centrally. Play it in, tipped off. All the way. Oh, nice deflection right there by Freeman. As that'll get out for another Mexico corner. Good ball movement right there by Mexico. As they're getting a little bit more dangerous. They're taking a lot more chances. As they are pretty close. As Vega will play this one short. As Alvarado will pass it centrally. They try to work this in. There's the shot. Nice save by Mount Freeze. As Mora put a nice ball on. Now here comes the U.S. And Freeze is going to have to get rid of this one, and he does. And it's Tim Ream. He's got acres of space to move. As Ream is trapped, he's going to play this one forward. It's Ajamang. And Ajamang will get this. Ooh, it'll be a. Is this going to be a corner? Ooh. That was a good save by Matt. Nope, it'll be a U.S. throw-in. Good defense right there by Mexico to keep that out of the corner. So this will be a U.S. throw-in. So that ball's going to get thrown into the box. Headed away. Right to Tyler Adams, who's going to play this one in. And it'll get cleared. Right there is Chris Richards. Tries to head it forward, but right to a Mexican attacker. And now Mexico is on the counterattack. It's Gallardo on the left. As that's going to get played centrally. As it's now on the right. Laid off, cleared again by the United States. It was Freeman. Good reaction there by Freeman. As Mexico is going to have to reset here. And that ball is a nice little ball in the box. Crossed. Headed away. But Mexico will keep this in. As we're in the 25th minute now. It's been all Mexico for essentially 20 minutes now. One v one on the right side. As they're going to have to play this back now. Coming out is the U.S. defense. Now it's going to be Gallardo on the left. Nice pass centrally. Oh, nice play in. It's and he scores. Raul Jimenez. Great goal right there by Mexico. And it's Raul Jimenez, equalizer, 26th minute. And you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming from Mexico. The possession. No doubt about it. As that ball was played beautifully into the box off the left-hand side, it was a good cross to find Raul Jimenez, who just bangs it in. And what a nice goal celebration right there by Mexico as Raul hangs a Diogo Jota Mexico shirt. And that was very much onside right there. That was a beautiful goal right there by Raul. And was that tipped right there? It did look like it was onside, by the way. So we are equal here. That was a beautifully played ball in. As Raul Jimenez cleans it up. And of course, Raul has had a little bit of a career resurgence with Fulham. Had an absolutely beautiful campaign with Cottagers. And I guess that's the difference, right? As that ball's taken away. As now it's played in, and Mexico keeps it back high, but now all of a sudden, there's a lot of chippiness going on. No whistle as as Diego Luna gets taken down. Absolutely unbelievable. No whistles. As Mexico is allowed to play on here. And it's Gallardo on the left. As we are approaching the 30th minute now. Unbelievable. 2 blatant fouls, no calls, that allowed Mexico to handle possession here. Unbelievable. As this is going to play it up the right-hand side. And Mexico has to retreat a little bit. As the U.S. are going to have to commit to this press too. They can't just allow the space that they've allowed Mexico to operate in. And that means Ajmang's going to have to be a part of this as well, too. He has been absolutely non-committal when it comes to the press, but that's a nice ball in right here. And now Mexico will be on the right-hand side. Oh, nice chip forward. As that ball is going to get played in. Headed over. And the U.S. will have a goal kick here. As they have to be a lot better. As they're allowing space between the channels in the back four. And they're just allowing far too much space to allow Mexico to build up. They're going to have to match the intensity of Mexico moving forward because they're committed to the press here. And I think there's going to be a whistle. As Mexico equalized just a few minutes ago, but for the most part, it's been all Mexico. Outside of the U.S.'s first goal, it's been all Mexico, and now all of a sudden there's a whistle, so Mexico will retain possession here. But the crazy thing is, it's Mexico has gotten away with so many fouls. And yeah, I don't know, man. This refereeing is just not equal. As play will restart. As the U.S. absolutely needs to ratchet up the pressure here. And it's Malagón. And that ball's going to get deflected back. As Chris Richards will play it forward. But Mexico will keep possession. Oh, Tim Ream drops Raul Jimenez. Nice little touch right there by Freeman to kick it out. But here comes Mexico again. It's going to be Vega. Plays centrally. All the way out to the right now. That ball's going to go in. Tipped away by De La Torre, but it's going to stay. Nice played in. It's Raul Jimenez. 1v1 against Richards. That ball's going to go far side. Headed away by Tim Ream. But Mexico will keep possession in U.S. territory. We are in the 33rd minute now. It's Gallardo. Good pass. Mexico has done a very good job of utilizing space. Nice move by Gallardo to get around Freeman. Tipped away. And it feels like Mexico's on the verge of going ahead here. Oh, nice move to get around Arfson. Ball in, tipped up by Ream, and now tipped forward. And it's going to have to get played all the way back. And Malagón will come out to take this one, and Mexico again will hold possession. It's been a few minutes before the U.S. has actually tried to take possession and get forward. It feels like it's been 15 minutes. As the U.S. has essentially settled into a low block here. Just giving Mexico the ball. As the U.S. will not commit numbers to the press. As that ball is going to go down the left-hand side, it's Gallardo. Flick back. It's down. Mexico will go down the left-hand side. Taken away right there by the U.S., but given right back to Mexico. Oh, what a save by Matt Freese. was tipped forward, and I think it was Gallardo that got one on, but Matt Freese was there. It was Alvarado, excuse me. As the U.S. now is having trouble controlling possession, getting out of their own end. Nice play forward. It's Luna, but that ball's taken away. And there's a whistle. There's Mauricio Pochettino, who probably is not happy. His team absolutely cannot get forward. Mexico has done a brilliant job in their press. Essentially, the U.S. are stuck on the wings. Mexico has taken away the middle of the park. Here's Gallardo. All it takes is one trip up the pitch. As Mexico has 5 shots, 4 on target. Nice play by Erfson as that was tipped forward. Diego Luna now, as that ball's going to be taken away by Mexico. Mexico has, by the way, 5 shots on target, 5 shots on goal, 4 on target, while the U.S. is just 1-1. As the U.S. will try to play this down the left-hand side, it's Gallardo tipped away, and it's Freeman. And there's just nobody there. But it's Malik Tillman now. Malik Tillman is off to the races. Here comes Tillman. It's 2v2. Tillman cuts. And he will hang on to the ball. And he's going to play this back to Tyler Adams. Adams now goes all the way to Sebastian Berhalter. And it's Freeman. And it's Richards. And now they'll cross it to Tim Ream. And the U.S. will reset with Chris Richards. Can the U.S. get forward? It's Tyler Adams. And this is exactly what the U.S. needs, just a nice little chunk of time with the ball. Here's Diego Luna now. Plays it forward. It's Luca Della Torre. And this is what happens when the U.S. just won't be brave. They see a roadblock and they'll just play this thing back. Get forward. And look at what Mexico has done. Has essentially cut off two different parts of the pitch, and the U.S. actually has to react. And that is moving back. It's Berhalter. And now it's Ream. Now it's going to go to Arfs. It's going to go to Tyler Adams. Here's Diego Luna. Adams again. And it's played back. Here's Chris Richards. Nice pass right there. As it's tipped all the way to the wing. As Berhalter will play this forward, and that's going to get played out of bounds, so it'll be a U.S. throw-in. And at least there was a nice little period with the ball right there, as that'll get played in. Oh, nice move right there. And it's going to be taken away. And it'll go to Mexico as it gets played out, so just as quickly as that ball gets played in. U.S. loses possession, so take chances. This is what pisses me off. Take chances going forward. Play the ball up. Get a couple guys on the run, whether it be Tillman or Ajame. But here comes Mexico now countering from the right-hand side. That's a nice little pass right there. As Mexico is dangerous again. Shot save by Matt Freese, as that's going to get deflected out of bounds for another Mexico corner. The reality is, you're going to have to take chances and play a few guys on. And if that means, challenging Mexico's backline, so be it. If they do a good job in clearing it, whatever. But you have to be able to get your key goal scorers in space, and you're not going to be able to do that by continuously passing it backwards. As it'll be a Mexico corner kick here. As we're approaching the 40th minute, 5 till halftime. As that ball is going to get played in all the way across. Nice play by Freeman as that's tipped out, so Mexico will get another corner kick here. As we are getting so close to the halftime. As that'll go out again. As Mexico is just absolutely so dangerous. And so Mexico will do it again. We're in the 41st minute. As Raul Jimenez is trying to get it played forward. Ball in. Headed away. Looks like it goes to Mora. Play it out. And that's going to go all the way to the top. Shoots, and that's going to clear the crossbar by a good 15 feet, so it'll be a U.S. goal kick. As they're re-showing that Raul Jimenez goal, that was an absolute dime. Right around Tim Ream. As play is going to restart. And, yeah, that's probably going to be a foul right there against Freeman. Against Vega on Freeman. As so far as we're 42 minutes in, it's been all Mexico, and it just seems like they have been the aggressor. They have been the bully. They're the ones that have taken all the chances. And there's going to be a whistle as Vasquez gets called for that one. And that's against, that was an absolute mugging against Ajme. As the U.S. are going to have to push back here. Don't be afraid to take a yellow if you need to. It's Chris Richards now. And it's Freeman. Freeman's going to that's going to get deflected. Turnover. Oh, nice little pick right there. Here come the Americans. Tyler Adams is going to try to play Ajiming on, and he does. Oh, yeah. 100%. Here comes the card. It'll be a yellow. It should be a red. And it was Montez. 100% that should be, because he was not playing the ball at all. He was playing Ajiming. As Ajiming got free, and that 100% should have been a red. Okay, never mind. You got the ball first. From that angle, it looked like he played the player. He played Ajiming. This is going to be a free kick here. 100%. So the U.S. will have an opportunity here before the half. Cesar Montez will pick up his first yellow. And that's what I'm talking about. Just take chances. Good things will happen when you take chances. And it'll be Sebastian Berhalter. Again, standing over this free kick on the right-hand side. Can the U.S. go up 2-1 right before the half? As the arm goes up, the ball gets whipped in. And that's going to get headed away. Now they're going to try the left-hand side. Good press by Mexico, and now the U.S. are going to have to play this back as it goes all the way out to Berhalter. Berhalter is going to play this one forward smartly, trying to get on the end of it. Tipped! Oh! Deflected away. As Montez will have to play this, so this is going to get taken away. Played in. Ajamang. Oh. Oh! It's Luna! Oh! Oh! Oh, as we're in stoppage time now, 2 minutes of stoppage time. How many times are the U.S. going to get roughed up in the box as Luna under pressure? But that's what I'm talking about. Get that ball going forward. As Freeman got onto it, tried to head it, but he headed off the head of Malagón right there. As it tipped to the right side, but the U.S. were able to intercept that pass by Cesar Montez as it stayed into the box. 2 U.S. players got wrestled down inside the box, no whistles. As Malagón will kick that one out as we're about 40-ish minutes away from the half. U.S. on the throw-in. As Arfson will play this forward. And now Mexico will clear it all the way out to the right-hand side as Freeman now will throw this in. And that's what I want to see more of. Taking chances moving forward as Sebastian Berhalter has a pretty lethal right foot. And that's going to be the end of the first half with the score tied 1-1. So, both goals coming relatively early as the U.S. scored off a free kick literally 5 minutes into the first half off of Chris Richards' header. But Mexico equalized. Let's go ahead and get into the stats here. As the possession, 64-36 Mexico. As they're also leading the XG battle 0.30 to 0.29. It's pretty close. But the shots on target tell a different story. Mexico, 7 total shots, 5 on target compared to 3 for the U.S., 2 on target. Accurate passes, 256 for Mexico, 126 for the U.S. Fouls are even, but the corners 5-0 to Mexico. So as we're looking at shots, shots inside the box is equal 3-3. Shots outside the box, it's 4-0 Mexico. As we get into the passes, 298 total for Mexico, 164 for the U.S. In their own half, 104 for Mexico, 82 for the U.S. And passes in the opposition half. This is unbelievable. 152 for Mexico, only 44 for the U.S. Accurate long balls, 9-6 Mexico. Accurate crosses, 2-1 Mexico. Touches in the opposition box, 15-7. Let's get into defense here. Tackles. U.S. actually leads tackles 6-3. Interceptions, Mexico 10, U.S. 2. Clearances, 27 for the U.S., 7 for Mexico. And duels 1. It's even 22-22. Ground duels 18-16 Mexico. Aerial duels 6-4 U.S. And successful dribbles. So it shows pretty much what I expected, which is essentially domination by Mexico in the first half. One of the things that was unsurprising was the fact that everything just looks clean for Mexico. They're utilizing the space that's given. The U.S. is not matching the intensity of Mexico, especially on the press. Every single time the U.S. try to touch the ball, there's generally two black jerseys surrounding it. They've essentially taken away the middle of the park. And so, unfortunately, the U.S. has no choice but to play the ball back. They're not taking chances, but we saw there at the end of the first half with Sebastian Berhalter playing the ball forward. They need more of that. They have to get their most dangerous goal scorers on the ball, or at least challenging that Mexico's back line. And again, good things will happen. if they do that. As we have seen with Mexico, they have no trouble getting forward. Seriously, man, they're just easing everything in. So good Lord, man. Good Lord. What I expect in the second half, I would like to see the U.S. Play with far more intensity. I don't necessarily know if it's an issue of making tactical changes. This squad was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I wouldn't say screwed to begin with. Not a lot of winger options. And so generally speaking, they played with more of a wing back system, 2 high tens pressing, and generally it's worked out for them quite well. That being said, I don't think that they've necessarily played somebody with the type of speed that Mexico has brought to this one. And it seemed like for a while there, the U.S. were just overwhelmed. But again, it is what it is. I will be back in just 1 second. So give me 1 second. We'll be back in just a second. All right. And we're back. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Gold Cup Final, the U.S. men's national team versus Mexico, a historical battle between these two teams, the rivalry that runs deep. For me at least, I wouldn't say that this was always going to be a challenge. I don't necessarily think that's accurate. I think, the U.S. rightly has deserved the right to be in this final. I think they have done exceptional work in this Gold Cup. They've handled their business. They took care of the opponents that were right in front of them. The only scare really was Costa Rica. In that quarterfinal, going to a shootout right there. And I think that, they have played through their lapses. And one of the things that I appreciate was the fact that, they didn't drop their heads, right? For a team that necessarily hasn't been together for a long time, it's going to take. It was going to take a couple of weeks for that chemistry to develop, right? And I think one of the best parts about this U.S. team was the quickness in which they developed that chemistry. But again, handicaps, being handicapped aside, because again, they're not necessarily playing with traditional wingers. It's more of a wing back system with Arston off the left and Freeman with the right. One of the things that, in order for the U.S. to get over, they're going to have to take their chances. Play balls forward and get it on the end of Diego Luna, Malik Tillman, and Patrick Ajimenez. Continuously have those dudes running through channels, challenging their center backs, trying to get shots on net, right? Putting pressure moving forward. The other thing is, defensively, you cannot keep allowing Mexico to have that space. Have that time on the ball where they're able just to kind of get a rhythm moving forward. They're seriously, the U.S. is acquiescing too much space, and I understand maybe some of the logic of not necessarily trying to burn out defending for a good part of the second half. So you're going to pick and choose when you're going to make your runs. Totally understand. Totally get it. But that being said, eventually you're going to have to flex that muscle. You're going to have to essentially put Mexico on the back foot. One of the things that I liked, especially in the first half, was the resolute play of Sebastian Berhalter, especially because Diego Luna has essentially been neutralized in that first half, and so you have to have somebody else being able to have that ball on the foot with the confidence of playing that ball forward. But that being said, again, I thought Chris Richards played well in that first half. I thought Freeman played well in that first half, especially down that, left-hand side as Mexico continues to try to press down that left-hand side. Freeman has been in the right places at the right time. And I think he's done relatively decent against Gallardo down that left-hand side. But I will say, though, again, Chris Richards looked good. And, even at times, Tim Ream has looked good as well, too. And I understand that, Raul Jimenez essentially scored against him 1v1 as he put it around Tim Ream. But he's also been in the right place at the right time as well, too, to clear some of those balls out. So I think defensively, they've looked good. They have to be a little bit more resolute. They have to be a little bit more compact. But outside of that, man, I really don't have any complaints. But it's also, what's the word I'm looking for? It's I don't know if it's necessarily the yips, so to speak. But that being said, because of a relentless Mexico press, the issue is every single time, we come on the ball and we try to turn and go forward. There's generally two Mexican shirts right on the ball. So it's a good mid press. It's a good collapse on onto the ball, right? And so we're not necessarily making smart decisions trying to play out of that press. So from that standpoint, we have to. I know it seems kind of funny, but we have to be able to locate that that escape route and be a little bit more decisive on the ball, which means we're going to have to move that ball quickly, which is something that we've at times in this Gold Cup we've had issues with. So it's going to be interesting. I certainly don't think we need to make any halftime substitutions. I don't necessarily think, unless, and again, I don't think Jack McGlynn necessarily makes sense. And I'm wondering whether Brendan Aronson makes sense, but I don't know. I'm not going to, that's the thing, is I think coming out of the second half, I just, with the score tied at 1, I think we kind of keep the same starting 11. But that being said, it's going to be interesting, right? Are we going to see maybe Damian Downs coming on there, and we're running the 2 high strikers? Definitely a possibility. Damian Downs, by the way, who is going to make the move to Southampton in the championship. I'm looking forward to that as well too. Brings a little bit more element of speed, and I think that potentially could play well for the United States as well too, especially considering that we have to be far more efficient pressing against Mexico. So we'll see. For Mexico, I think Mexico has done everything right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. They played exceptionally well in that first half, and man, I don't like to be the one to admit it, but they played well. They've made smart decisions, man. Smart decisions moving the ball. The one thing that I actually appreciate about it is they always have the right guy in space in order to continue to move the ball. One of the things, it's the ability to shift defenses, right? And good teams understand how to do that. And so far, Mexico, a good example is if they're trying to play down the left and they also see that the United States is starting to kind of overload a little bit on the left, they have no problem shifting as quick as possible to the right. And what it does is it allows them in 1v1 situations to play it into space, because essentially what happens is they eventually get their best players attacking channels. And it's exactly what led to Mexico's first goal. But it's also what made them unbelievably goal dangerous in that first half. So I would probably expect that Javier Aguirre is going to continue to keep his foot on the pedal here, trying to find that second goal. And if Mexico is the one to get the second goal, it's going to be awfully hard. The United States has to, and I mean has to, come out 2 guns ablazing in that second half They cannot be tentative. They have to be on the front foot, and they have to continue to press. All right. So before we get started in the second half, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are in a race to 1,000 subs. And every milestone we hit, I'm going to be giving away a shirt giveaway. Whatever kit that you prefer, I'm going to go ahead and make that happen and make sure it hits your front door. I like to take care of those that take care of me. And again, this is such a beautiful community, this U.S. soccer community, but also for the Mexican soccer community as well too, man. If you guys are tuning in, man, I got nothing but love for you guys. So make sure you hit that sub button as well as the like button as well too. So as we are getting set for the start of the second half, as it looks like the U.S. is coming down the tunnel here. And it doesn't necessarily look like there's going to be any changes for the U.S. And whether or not that's the right approach, but I think it is the right approach. I just think that, for the United States just has to get their best attackers with the ball on their foot, plain and simple. So they're going to have to be far more braver. Here comes the Mexican national team. Stellar first half for Mexico as they controlled a good portion of possession in the first half and were able to, make a lot of good things happen. So with the score tied 1-1, your halftime predictions, let me know in the chat here. Just curious to see how you see this one playing out. You think Mexico is going to be the first team to score in the second half? And if you do, how quickly do you think they score? And the inverse for the U.S. men's national team. Me personally, I would like to see the exact same thing we saw in the first half. U.S. just take their chances as much as they possibly can and see if they can get on the end of one and put one in the back. That's what I would like to see. Realistically, I want to see it. That's what I want to see. I want to see the U.S. go up. What can I say? What can I say? As Mexico will start the second half with possession. And now Mexico will be going from left to right as the U.S. will be attacking the west end as play has resumed here in the second half. And that is going to get played out of bounds. And it'll be a Mexico throw-in on the right-hand side. As Max Arfson tried to go up there and head that one forward. Instead, he heads it out. So it'll be a Mexican throw-in. It will be Sanchez who will play this forward. Nice little tip as that one's going to get tipped away. Nice pass right there. Nice tip forward. Here comes the United States. It's Ajimang. Nice little hold-up tip. Now that ball's going to get pinged forward. And it's Luca De La Torre on the end of it. Diego Luna plays it forward in, and that's just a little too far forward for Ajimang right there. Good idea to see if you can play Ajimang onto it, but just a little too far forward. And Ajimang just doesn't necessarily have that top speed. Let's be real. I don't think he can hang with Mexico. And not to talk shit about my own striker. The reality is I don't think Ajimang makes the World Cup roster. Me personally, Flo Balogun and Ricardo Pepi will probably get the first two spots, and it's going to be that battle for the third spot. Now, granted, if Ajimang goes to the championship and lights it up, he will have a very good opportunity. But, there's a very good opportunity that Josh Sargent lands with Leeds in the Premier League, and if he takes advantage of his opportunity, he most likely will get that third striker spot. As the U.S. are doing a good job now, as they're trying to press forward, and it's going to turn over. It's Tyler Adams Try to lay it forward. As that's going to get played all the way to the left-hand side. Here comes Mexico. So they're going to play this around. As the U.S. now are actually trying to press here. As Mexico has to play this back and reset. As Diego Luna tries to come up and play it. As that's going to be nice. That's going to be played in well. It's Raul Jimenez who's got to go to the other side. Tipped up, and there's Matt Freeze. Good defense right there by Freeman. As Mexico played Raul on it. That was a good ball forward. As Chris Richards had Raul marked. But as quickly as the U.S. tried to play it up, Mexico takes the ball back. As it's going to get played down the right-hand side. So the second half now has started to begin as much as the first half. Played out. Mexico keeping possession. As that ball is going to get played forward. In the box deep. That's going to get out. And it'll be a Mexico corner again. So 3 minutes in, and Mexico is doing a very good job right there. As Gallardo found a way in, but it was Chris Richards to flip that one out. So it'll be a Mexico corner. That ball's winged in. And that's going to get deflected out for a U.S. goal kick. There's Mexican head coach Javier Aguirre back for his second stint. And, of course, Aguirre was the head coach of Mexico in the 2002 World Cup, where he made a first half sub, which ended up being his undoing, as the U.S. had Mexico rattled. And that ball's turned over very quickly. So here comes Mexico on the counter. There was he slipped and fell. As Tim Ream plays it to Arfston, who cuts in. And the U.S. will lay it off to Tyler Adams, and the U.S. will now have to try to play this one out. It's Chris Richards. It's Tim Ream. It's Arfston. Nice play right there. Oh, nice play forward. It's Malik Tillman. That's too heavy of a touch. And here comes Mexico now. In the box, 1v1, shoots wide left of the post. Nice play by Alvarado. That was looking good too, as Tim Ream cut the angle right there. It just goes wide. Ooh. A little bit more on target. It's 2-1. As the U.S. will try to play this one forward. It's Luka. It's Tyler Adams. No whistle as Tyler hits the deck. Again, two black shirts converge on the ball. Take the ball away quickly. So here comes Alvarado. On the right-hand side. Nice play right there by Tillman. Tried to take it away, but it directly goes forward as it goes all the way to the left-hand side. Freeman. And here's Berhalter now. And he's got to play this forward, yeah, no doubt. As it's played centrally. And Mexico again. Look at Diego Luna. Oh. As a U.S. player gets tripped again, no whistle off the ball. This is terrible officiating. On the one hand, I can appreciate the fact that they're letting these two teams play, but it's got to be even. As that's going to get played out of bounds for U.S. throwing off the left-hand side. Damn. That was a nice play by Malik Tillman as he turned and moved up the pitch. The problem is his first touch was heavy. As the U.S. are trying to play this up. Nice little handoff right there by Diego Luna. Tillman's in trouble. Nice play to Tyler Adams. Adams in traffic. We'll play this one forward. Lays it off. It's Sebastian Berhalter on the touchline. Kept in by the U.S. Played forward. Tyler Adams. Diego Luna. Over to De La Torre. On the left-hand side, it's Arfston. Arfston, 1v2. Kicks forward. Arfston shoots! Oh! And just misses the crossbar. Just over. Good opportunity right there for the U.S. as they worked it in beautifully. Nice play by Arfston to create space and just puts it over the crossbar. Oh. Oh! I'm going to have a heart attack. Good play right there by Max. He was literally 1v2 and created his own space right there. But here comes Mexico now. Nice play by Richards. Stop that from happening. As the U.S. will try to counter. And there's a whistle yet, for sure. As Malik Tillman was absolutely draped right there. And so the U.S. now will take possession. It'll be Tim Ream on the left-hand side. So here comes the Mexican press. It's Freeman. And now he's going to play this one forward. He's got a cutting Sebastian Berhalter, but that ball's going to get tipped up. In the scrum. It comes down. Ooh. And now all of a sudden, that ball's played forward. It's Raul Jimenez. 1v1 against Chris Richards, and that's taken away right there by Tyler Adams. And it's Matt Freeze who's going to play this forward, trying to find Ajamang. It gets tipped away on the right-hand side, the left-hand side, so here comes Mexico now. It's a foot race. It's Vega. And that's going to get played all the way to the right. It's Alvarado. 1v2. As Luna did a very good job of cutting off the corner. Nice play by Luna. That's going to get deflected. I think that hit the post and out. Was it tipped by Freeze? It is. So it'll be another Mexican corner. Look at the aggression by Mexico. Yeah, it was tipped out by Freeze. As Mexico will play this short, it's Alvarado. Tries to go centrally, but right there is the U.S. defender. Off the left-hand side, Tyler Adams deflects it away. Mexico will retain possession as they reset. As that goes all the way to the right-hand side. That's a nice ball forward. It's Vega. Ooh, nice save by Freeze. Here comes the United States now up the right-hand side. They're going to try to slow this down. It's Tyler Adams now. As he lays this off to Tim Ream. As Arfston's all the way off the left-hand touchline, but Ream decides to play it back. Here's Ream. Oh, play it forward, Tim. As there you go. Oh, It looked like Freeman was making a good run right there, but he slipped. Now here comes Mexico up the right side. Now that ball's played forward. Nice play by Diego Luna to deflect it. It's Diego Luna now with the ball. As Diego's trying to dribble through traffic. Nice little touch right there. And there's a whistle as Malik Tillman will hit the deck. As the whistle is on that Rafa Marquez wannabe. Nice cross by Vega. Chris Richards. Oh, it hit off Richards' knee. Good placement right there by Matt Freeze. As the and now that gets played out real quick, and here comes Mexico again. Score tied at 1, as we are now approaching the 60th minute. So it'll be a half hour to play. Can the U.S. get forward? Nice play right there by the U.S. The last thing we want is this thing to go to a shootout. Here's the restart as Mexico now will play this off to the right. Through traffic. Nice ball. That's going to get tipped out by Luca De La Torre. As that ball is going to get tipped. And Arston has no choice but to play this out. So it'll be a throw-in for the Mexican national team here. Deep on the right-hand side. There's Raul. It'll be Sanchez to throw this one in. That's tipped away. Nice clearance right there. And there's a whistle. Again, Ajimang hits the deck. And it was our buddy Montez again. He's already got one yellow card. That probably should have been the second, if we're being honest. Here's Arston. Left-hand side. Plays it in. Oh, nice move by Reem. And Reem's going to play this one forward. Puts it in no man's land, but it's going to get played back. Move it Ajimang. Played Malacone 1v1. That ball's tipped in. Make a play on the ball, goddammit. Chris Richards plays this one up. Ooh. There's a whistle. As Mel Tillman gets Alvarado. Nice to see the U.S. showing some teeth here. So Mexico will restart. It's Montez. As here comes Mexico now. It's Gallardo on the left-hand side. He's going to play this all the way back. It's going to be Montez. It's going to be Sanchez. And Mexico has to play this back. Here comes Gallardo on the left-hand side. They're going to play this one back to Montez. As Mexico is going to have to figure this one out as Sanchez is on the right-hand touchline. Pop forward. Nice play by De La Torre. And that's going to get played out. And it will be another Mexico throw-in. We're in the 62nd minute. Score tied at 1. Mexico has done a pretty good job possession-wise here in the second half, as the U.S. has rarely touched the ball. When they did, though, they got a nice shot on goal right there by Max Arston. But it's Raul Jimenez. Nice play by Tyler Adams. It's Luna. Nice play right there. And Mexico will intercept this one. And it's played all the way back to Malacon. Ooh, nice sliding tackle, but there's a whistle. And it's going to be a card against Tyler Adams. As he absolutely took down. No, knee to knee against Alvarez right there. That was kind of vicious. That was kind of the other. So now both teams have one player on a yellow. Which team is going to break here? There's Alexi. Which team is going to blink? Is it going to be the U.S. or Mexico? As Mexico again will have possession. And Montez is going to try to play this one forward. And that's going to get out. As we are approaching minute number 65, there'll be another corner for Mexico. USA. Yes, it looks like it's going to be Vega. They're going to play this one short. No, that ball's going to get whipped in. Ooh, that's going to get headed over by Chris Richards. So again, Mexico will have the corner again as Vega will set up in that left-hand corner. As the ref is trying to get both of these teams organized, as Sebastian Berhalter is essentially 1v2 against Vasquez and Jimenez. That ball's going to get played short. As Vega plays one in, just a little too far. A little too hard right there as he was going to the far post. As we're in that time frame where we probably would see some substitutions. 65th minute now, 25 minutes left in regulation. Can the U.S. get a goal here as that ball's going to play forward as he tries to hit Ajamang? So that's going to hit Diego Luna. It's Tyler Adams who's going to play this one forward. Nice play by Berhalter. Oh, no whistle. Unbelievable. As it goes all the way to the left, it's Arfston. 1v1. Nice play by Arfston. Ooh, nice ball. It was taken away. De La Torre takes it away. Tyler Adams plays it forward and that ball's taken away. Here come can the U.S. sustain possession high up? No, they can't. And now Mexico will be on the counter. It's Gallardo on the left. That ball's going to get played all the way forward. It's like it hit Vega right there. It's Vega. 1v1 against Darson. Vega plays it in. Back post. And tipped out of bounds by Freeman, so it'll be another Mexico corner. That was that was a handball. That was a handball. Oh. It was taken away. It was a very good, he picked the back pocket, but as he came down, his hand palmed the ball. Unbelievable. All right. I guess handballs are legal, as Chris Richards will head this one out. As Mexico will try again. Up the left-hand side. Plays it in. Chris Richards. Keep that one out of bounds. And quickly, Mexico will try to play it into the box. Good defense right there. Shoots! And that'll go wide to the left. And it looks like Damian Downs is going to check into this one, as the U.S. will make their first substitution. Nice little tip right there by Vega to try to get into the box as he beats Freeman around the end. As Vasquez hits it into the camera well. So Luca Della Torre will now come off for the U.S. as Damian Downs will come into this one. So I probably assume that Sebastian Berhalter probably moves a little centrally, as both Damian Downs and Patrick Aubameyang will play forward. As we're approaching minute 70, as that ball's going to hit all the way up. Tipped forward by Mexico. See how Mexico counters. Little resistance there by Aubameyang, as it's Montez. And that's going to be played all the way to the right side by Sanchez, who's got acres of space in front of him. Let's see what. And now Mexico play this off to Montez on the right. A nice little play in the box right there to Raul. That's going to get deflected out by Tim Ream for a Mexico throw-in. We are in minute 70 now. Sanchez will throw this one in for Mexico. And that's going to get played back. It's going to get laid off right there. Nice cut in. It's Sanchez who's going to find Vasquez. Nice little play into the box right there. But right there is Tyler Adams, and that's going to get out, I believe, for another Mexican corner. As Mexico has done a very good job in possession, limiting the U.S.'s ability to get forward. As that ball is going to get pinged in, header on, and that's going to get wide left. As it was Sanchez right there who got on the end of that one. Not exactly the greatest kick in the world right there from the corner. Couldn't square his body as that ball goes to the left. And there's a whistle. As Tyler Adams hits the deck. As credit Mexico, man, they've had the right game plan. They've been pressuring all match long. And you're wondering whether or not, they're going to, run out of energy at some point. So far, 70 minutes in, they have done a very good job collectively pressing. As it'll be Tim Ream. As that ball's going to get played. Tip forward. And it'll be a whistle on Malik Tillman. Although now that we're essentially 18 minutes away, if this matches to end 1-1 and it gets to a shootout, I would definitely. Oh, that ball is beautiful as that goes in. Taken away by the U.S. Very good right there. It's Tyler Adams. Oh, again, taken away by Mexico. As it's going to go out. It's a U.S. throw and very good defense right there by Damian Downs. As Malik Tillman is still on the ground, he's rubbing his thigh. 73rd minute. Very, very, very good defense right there by Damian Downs. As that ball gets played back to Tim Ream. It's Arvston. Nice move by Arvston. Chip forward, headed on. It's Ajame. And now it's going to get cleared by Mexico. And it's Tim Ream again. It's Arvston down the left-hand side. And he's going to pull up short and has to play this one back to Tim Ream. He's trying to quiet everybody down. Richards. Nice move to Malik Tillman. Tillman plays it all the way out to Arvston. Arvston hits Malik Tillman down the left. Oh, Damian Downs, and that ball is it's tried to cross in, but good defense right there. And Mexico will make their first switch. Orbelin will come in. And it looks like Mora comes off. Orbelin Pineda. Gilberto Boren. As we're approaching the 75th minute. As it'll be a Mexico goal kick. Score still tied 1-1. Can the U.S. push it to penalties? As play resumes. Here's Melacon. And Mexico will now play it all the way to Montez. Nice. That ball's going to get pinged forward. Now it's going to, that's going to fall down to the left-hand side. Oh, nice play right there. It's Raul. Take it away. Mexico will hold it in. It's Gallardo. Nice play all the way down. Nice movement right there. Deflected again. Mexico will hold it in deep. And there's going to be a whistle right there on Diego Luna. That's fine. So it'll be a free kick for Mexico off the left-hand side, right outside the box. I'm still waiting to see where that foul was. That's Raul Jimenez. Hits the deck, tried to draw a whistle, didn't get it. So it looks like Gallardo and Vega will stand over this one. Mexico will try to see if they can get Jimenez free off the back post. Whipped in. Oh, they score! Oh, they're saying offside. Oh, yeah, they lined up offside. Yeah, they lined up offside. I think this one's coming back. As they are checking offside, he 100% was offside. Well, they lined up offside. As this one's going to VAR, as it should. Oh, and it looks like VAR has come back and it's going to be a goal. Unbelievable because, yeah, by the way, they lined up offside, and then when they scored, they were offside. I don't understand this officiating in this Gold Cup. I don't get it. I don't understand how you're going to be able to award a goal when Mexico lined up offside, and when the header, the dude was a full arm offside. Alvarez was way offside. Whatever. Maybe it's just so yeah, look, they lined up offside. And then Alvarez is offside when he hits the header. And they give him the goal anyway. That goal should be disallowed. Unbelievable. So Mexico now has taken a 2-1 lead off a header off a free kick by Alvarez, Edson Alvarez, in the 77th minute. Unbelievable. As Mexico lined up for that free kick offside, and Alvarez was offside when he hit the header. But, you know, it is what it is. Here comes Damian Downs, plays it off the left-hand side. It's Malik Tillman. Tillman. As that ball's going to get played by Adams. Here's Tyler Adams again on the left-hand side. Tyler. Central. Malik Tillman to Berhalter. Goes to the right side now. It'll be Malik Tillman again. It'll be Tim Ream. It's Luna. Here's Max Arfston. Plays it centrally. Malik Tillman. Oh, nice heads-up play right there by Ajiming to keep the ball deep. Arfston. Luna. It's Luna. Taken away by Mexico. Ugh. And there's a whistle on. There's a whistle. As we approach the 81st minute now. 9 more minutes left. No, I guess not. As Tyler Adams will come off now. As Jack McLoone will come in. As Mauricio Pochettino likes McLoon's elusive left foot. As Mexico will switch to Gallardo on the left. It's Vega. Nice move by Vega to turn. Tipped away. Nice play right there. As McLoon will try to play this one forward. Kept in by Mexico and out of bounds. So it'll be a U.S. throw-in. 8 minutes until stoppage time. Can the U.S. find an equalizer? Coming now for Mexico is Santiago Jimenez. Shoots wide. It'll be a U.S. goal kick as Alvarado hits the deck. As now Mexico is going to try to waste time. Santiago Jimenez will check in. Huerta will check in for Mexico. Yes, Mexico now does what Mexico does best: milk the clock with a one goal lead. Oh. Here come the United States now. It's Ream. It's Arston. That's tipped away, but it's Ajimeng. Nice play by Ajimeng. Kept in. Oh, that's a nice little play right there by Mexico. That's going to get kicked out of bounds for a U.S. throw-in. And now play will get stopped again. With a fake non-injury. Brendan Aronson and John Tolkien will check in now for the U.S. As Santiago Jimenez will check in for Raul Jimenez. As Diego Luna comes off. And there's a yellow card. Yes, there is some confusion on the sideline, as Mexico's taken all the time they need. As Raul Jimenez gets the yellow card right there for wasting time. It's Santiago Jimenez, the AC Milan striker. And Sanchez will come off. For the U.S. is Brendan Aronson. As Israel Reyes checks in for Mexico. So now Diego Luna comes off for Brendan Aronson. As the U.S. are hunting a goal here. Here comes Huerta now. As Vega will check off. Here's the throw-in. In the box, tipped. It's going to get played off to the right. U.S. Oh, nice play right there. As that ball is going to get played out for another U.S. throw-in. As the U.S. are looking for a late goal here. It'll be a Mexican throw-in. Jesus. As John Tolkien's in for Max Arston here. Chris Richards will head this forward. I have no idea what that was right there. By Sebastian Berhalter. 87th minute. And Mexico continues to waste time here. Nice flip forward. That's the U.S. And there's a whistle. The U.S. absolutely need a goal as Brendan Aronson was taken down. As Santiago Jimenez, I think he might have broken his finger. And he's just going to waste as much time as they possibly can now. It looks like Jimenez may have broken his finger. As Mexico, as they're showing the Mexican goal, the offside goal that should have stayed offside. Unreal. So as Mexico is trying to eat up as much clock as they possibly can, as it looks like Mexico is in the driver's seat. We're in the 89th minute. As the U.S. will have a free kick deep in their territory. As that ball's going to get played all the way to the left-hand side. It's John Tolkien. Here's Tolkien. Nice play right there. It was Brendan Aronson. Berhalter. Get played all the way back to Tim Ream. It's Richards. It's Berhalter. And there's a whistle. As Freeman is down. Looks like he got kneed in the butt. So it'll be a U.S. free kick. It'll be Jack McGlynn. Can the U.S. strike 7 minutes of stoppage time? It's McGlynn. Plays it short. It's McGlynn again. That ball played in, gets deflected. Played all the way to the left to Ream. Ream is going to play this one forward into the box. Ajamang! And this is now headed out. Mexico will try to play this one forward, and they clear it. It gets out for a U.S. throw-in. Oh. U.S. got on the end of that one. And it was Damian Downs that was onside. Ajamang just could not get a foot on it. Because he sucks. This will go out again. As the U.S. will throw it in. That's going to get headed back. And as that ball's going to be played forward, deflected to Matt Freese, who quickly plays this one out. Aronson to John Tolkien. Lays it to Berhalter. Berhalter plays it forward to Chris Richards. It's McGlynn. McGlynn plays it to the left-hand side to Tolkien. Takes it off the chest. Tolkien has to play it back now. Taken away by Mexico. Here comes the Mexican counterattack. Nice play, nice pass by Vega. That comes out of bounds for a U.S. throw, and it quickly comes back into play. U.S. are going to have to be a little bit more daring here. 5 minutes left. There's Tolkien. It's taken away by Aronson. Here's Ream. It's Richards. It's Berhalter. And it's Ream again. Nice pass in. It has to get played back. Oh, no, that ball's taken away. Here comes Mexico now racing up the left-hand side. It's Vega. Lays it off. And it's a whistle. It's going to be another free kick. Yes, here's Mexico now. That's gonna get deflected out for a Mexican throw in here. As we're 4.5 minutes into stoppage time. Can the U.S. equalize late? As Mexico is wasting time, that ball gets played in. Nice little flip back. Nice cut in. Nice tipped away by the U.S. No whistle. Shoot! Saved by Freeze. 2 minutes left. Here come here's Damian Downs now. Played it forward just behind. But again, here come the U.S. Oh, nice play right there. Nice play by Montez to strip Freeman right there, coming forward. Five and a half minutes into stoppage time. Just a minute and a half left. It's looking so dangerously close to a Mexico win. Taken away by the U.S., but it goes out for another throw-in. 1 minute remains until Mexico will lift this trophy. That'll go out for a corner kick. As Brendan Erickson tried to save it. Here come the Americans. Tipped away. Played back in. Oh, boy. Taken away by Mexico deep. And played out. U.S. throw-in. 10 seconds remaining. All the way to Freeze. Plays it off to Tim Ream. And they got to get forward. Ream boots it up. It's Damian Downs. That gets out. And there it is. Mexico will win the Gold Cup. Unbelievable. Mexico wins 2-1. as they get their second goal in the 74th minute off a goal that should have been disallowed for offside, but whatever. It was a one-sided affair refereeing, by the way. Yeah, I'm bitter. You know, that being said, let's keep it real. Mexico was the better team. Mexico was the better team today. All right, let's get into the stats here. As the full-time stats here, Mexico led the possession 60-40. They won the XG battle 1.26 to 0.64. Total shots 16-6. Shots on target 8-3. U.S. had 2 big chances to Mexico's 1, and we missed our 2 big chances. Accurate passes 441 to 280. Fouls committed, U.S. 12 to Mexico's 11, and they beat us on the corner battle 12-0. 12-0. Shots inside the box 7-5. Mexico shots outside the box 9-1. Passes 518 to 351. Again, accurate passes 441 to 280. Passes in the own half, Mexico 182, U.S. 152. Passes in the opposition half 259 to 128. Accurate long balls 18 to 15. Accurate crosses 7 to 1. Touches in the opposition box 41 to 15. Tackles, though. Tackles 1, the U.S. 12, Mexico 7. Interceptions 15 to 6. Clearances 47-15. Duels, U.S. beat Mexico by 2, 48-46, but ground duels 38-36. Aerial duels, U.S. did win that one 12-8. And successful dribbles 8-6. But listen, overall, overall, I tip my cap to the U.S. men's national team. I think they played a very good tournament. And again, I thought that they grew very well together as a team. But in this one, they just did not match Mexico's intensity. From the opening whistle, outside of the opening goal by the U.S. On the Chris Richards header, they just did not get forward enough. They had no answer to Mexico's press. Were unwilling to match the intensity, and that was the end story. But if you're looking for an upside, the U.S. men's national team gave a performance throughout this Gold Cup where you can take positives away as we now come into, the new international windows. But that being said, right, I think this was kind of a blueprint for the U.S. men's national team moving forward. What I will say is that one of the things that I wanted to see in this Gold Cup was toughness, intensity, and the ability not to get your mind warped around making mistakes. We saw a couple of them, but we also saw overcoming that adversity. I think there is now a new level of which the U.S. men's will play, and I'm hoping that the leaders of this group make it known. For those that decided to opt out, I'm sorry, man. If you're going to be here, you're going to play hard, and I hope that is the takeaway from this Gold Cup, because I think there are far more positives to take away from this Gold Cup run. Negatives, yes, Mexico is the better team, so I guess you tip your cap to them. But that being said, what I will say from all of this is that what I wanted to see, I think the U.S. accomplished. Turning to Tanner Michaels, thanks for stopping by, Tanner. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tough loss. Can't agree with the officiating. Thanks for the stats and commentary. You're absolutely welcome. And when it comes to the officiating, I was absolutely disgusted because in the first half there were 3 blown calls that could have switched the momentum to the U.S. men's national team, and it effectively killed momentum for the U.S. men's national team. On the one hand, I understand, because you don't necessarily want to make this a game about the officiating, but what ended up happening is it made this match about the officiating because you have to call it even, right? When you have these finals, you actually have to have a mixed crew. You just can't be like, all right, who's next up? Some Latin American crew that, regardless are going to, are going to favor the Mexican national team. So you want like a hybrid crew of both, North American and Central American crews. But what really irked me was the free kick because Mexico lined up offsides. And I still believe that when Alvarez hit the header, he was offside. I digress. But that being said, that should have been waved off. That's all I'm saying. But that being said, it is what it is. Mexico wins 2-1. And, I think the U.S. did exactly what was expected, getting to the final. They did. And I thought that, this crew came together quite well. So my expectation moving forward is that, that guys like Christian Pulisic, guys like Jedi Robinson, I hope they were paying attention. Josh Sargent, some of these other guys, I hope they were paying attention. I hope they were paying attention to this Gold Cup run, and I hope they were paying attention to the way that this group came together. And I hope that they realize that those that accepted the opportunity to come in and play are probably going to be in camp the next time around. So Sebastian Berhalter is probably going to be around. Diego Luna is going to continue to be around. Patrick Aubameyang is probably going to continue to be around. Max Star, it depends on the availability of Jedi Robinson. But that being said, you would probably assume that there's going to be a couple of international windows where maybe one or two of those guys sits out, and so there's going to create more opportunity for a guy like Max Arsene to come in and get some minutes, right? So there's going to be a few MLS guys that are going to see themselves in this, potential for a World Cup roster spot, as they should, because I thought they played well enough to be called into the next window. Sebastian Berhalter for sure. Say what you will, man. I thought he had a really good Gold Cup. Tim Ream was going to be there as well too. Just saying. Now, as good as I thought Freeman played, you kind of want to see Serginho Dest at this point. I think Serginho Dest is probably better for the national team at this point. But that being said, he's got to get ingratiated with Mauricio. He has yet to play for Mauricio. This was supposed to be the summer. But I guess recovering from injury, he would rather stay with his club team. Fair enough, whatever. It is what it is. But, Matt Freese is going to be a part of this team moving forward. So we'll see how this plays out. I will say that I still think that the goalkeeper position still has going to have to flesh itself out, because what happens if Matt Turner goes and plays well? He's going to get that move to Lyon in France. Okay, great. And what happens if he plays well? Well, he's going to continue to get called in. And then, of course, the striker battle. I think, as far as the outfield positions go, it's going to be who's going to be the 9, who's going to be the backup, and then who's going to be the 10. And me personally, we're going to see Flo Balogun and we're going to see Ricardo Pepi sooner rather than later. And I think those guys, when it comes to the World Cup, those guys are going to be 1 and 2. As far as the 10th position, right, I thought Mel Tillman was the best player of the tournament for the U.S. When we needed goals, he gave us goals, right? The downside, when you look at this game in a vacuum, there were certain times where Malik necessarily wasn't tough enough. But that being said, man, we're going to see it in the next window. We're going to see it against better competition. I believe we have South Korea coming up. So we'll see, man. We shall see. But that being said, man, there's good, I think the winger positions work itself out. Timmy Way and Christian Pulisic, that's that's probably going to be given, right? And Tyler Adams will be a part of this as well too, right? So the interesting thing is who's going to be in that 8 position, right? Most would just assume it's going to be Weston. Makes sense for me. But that being said, Sebastian Berhalter, man, it's probably going to be a part of it. Yep, I seriously believe that. But we're going to be talking about this as we progress to the next window, and we're going to be talking about this this roster and what a potential World Cup roster is going to look like as we move through the summer of 2025 into the fall of 2025, and of course the winter of 2026 as we ramp up towards World Cup 2026. This was the last competitive tournament for the U.S. until the World Cup kicks off in 2026, and so now it's just going to be international friendlies between now until then. And for Maurizio Pochettino, I probably assume that means you're going to be calling in players that are most likely going to make up the bulk of what we're going to see in the summer of 2026. But overall, good run by the U.S. men's national team. They accomplished what they were supposed to, which is getting to a final. From that standpoint, I think the U.S. Progressed with flying colors. They handled their business when they needed to. They overcame adversity, and they showed grit throughout the course of this tournament. So, again, congratulations, Mexico. You got the beneficiating of one-sided officiating, and you got an offside goal, and that was the difference. But you won the Gold Cup. Fair enough. Congratulations. We'll see you. We'll see you in 2026. Until then, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I want to thank everybody that stopped by the chat tonight. I wish it would have been on. I wish it would have been on better terms for the U.S. men's national team, but it is what it is. Until next weekend, which I'm going to assume that we are going to come back with the MLS weekly watch along, as well as the FIFA Club World Cup Final, which I believe is coming up on Sunday. So next week there's going to be a lot of action here on Stateside Footy. So until then, you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week. Have a great night, guys.